Hi, everybody. My name is Ramielle. I'm a co-founder of Wolkberg Casting Studios. We are a multidisciplinary industrial design and manufacturing business. And today I'm going to tell you our story, which will reveal some of our secrets to success. It is very much in a nutshell because it's a long story, so please bear with me. And I had to write it down, otherwise I would go over the 20 minutes. So I might be referring to my notes while I talk to you. I've prepared a little bit of a presentation as well, just to guide the talk. So obviously, because it's a story, it is quite a personal narrative, and it's very authentic. So I hope you will enjoy this deep dive into Wolkberg. A lot of what I'm going to say hasn't been said before through our marketing material, and I think it's very relevant, and I want to say it because I want to reinforce the idea to some people that the universe is abundant and it makes room and space for things to happen if you believe and work towards your goal. So I'm going to share my screen now, the presentation with you. Okay, it started with the coming together of like minds over a passion that was common between us for concrete. Riandu and Graham studied at TUT industrial design, and during their studies, they did a project on concrete, which really intrigued them about the materiality of concrete and the product design possibilities. While they were at TUT, I was the product manager for a leading tap, valve, and sanitary ware manufacturer. And at the time, I was running a product design competition with TUT, UJ, and CPUT industrial design faculties. Riandu and Graham entered the competition, and at the time, the business unit manager was looking to employ an industrial designer, and Riandu got employed in that position. So the competition was over, we had a winner, and Riandu was a part of our team now, and we both worked together on the industrialization of that winning tap. The brief was to create a tap out of an alternative material as opposed to the normal brass chrome-plated variety. So we deep dived into research on alternative materials, and through our research, it became clear to us that there was a market opportunity for concrete to become a material of choice in interior spaces. So being the lead on the design of this new product, Riandu chose concrete as the material of choice. Unfortunately, the product never got produced, which you might find as designers quite frustrating if you work in a corporate environment, that there's often a lot of red tape which prevents innovation from happening. Unfortunately, so like I said, it didn't actually happen, but the research, it got us to fall in love with concrete even more. The both of us, for various different reasons, of course. I fell in love with the potential aesthetic of this material that is age old and gets stronger with time. And I knew that it was going to become bigger, and I just wanted to be a part of this move. For Riandu, it was the R&D, deep diving into R&D of concrete confirmed to him that Graham and his idea of creating concrete countertops was an actual possibility. So I would say the first secret to our success was research. You can never know too much about the topic. If you are passionate about a topic, learn as much as you can about it. And this day and age, it's really so easy with the internet to teach yourself new things. These are some of the images that were floating around on the internet at the time, when concrete started to become a big deal in interior spaces. It started mainly in kitchens where people would cast in situ concrete, and it gave such an industrial, raw, authentic vibe to spaces. So it all starts with an idea. you do your research. If you do your research on your idea, it will give you the confidence to move forward, even if it is an innovation. This is when Ramielle introduced Graham and I to each other, and they presented their idea to me. They asked me if I would like to be a part of this journey, and this is where it all began. So we decided Ramielle would lead R&D and material design, Graham would lead product design and engineering, and I would lead marketing, product management, and sales. And this combination of skills and passion together really did contribute towards our success. We clearly knew each other's strengths and we allowed each other to do our best in that area. And 3 is better than 1. I was super excited about this idea, and in the early days, it seemed pretty simple. Just create a concrete countertop that is precast, stain resistant, scratch resistant, can be used as an alternative to any other any other countertop in the industry. And that meant it also had to be 20 mil thick. So how difficult could that be? Let's just say it was not easy. And this is where grit comes into play. So grit is passion and perseverance. And to have grit, it means that you have the passion and the perseverance. And without it, to push through the trials and errors, we would not have come this far. Our R&D on Limeside took 3 years, and what to us was a lot of money, time, and commitment, without seeing any profits, without seeing any financial rewards, because we would only launch the product when we were satisfied that it met all the requirements that we needed it to meet. So a substandard product was not going to be launched into the market. That was definitely something we were not prepared to do. The second secret then has to be grit, right? And to innovate. We had to innovate and solve a problem to make the product relevant and acceptable in the market. We consulted with industry experts, including professors, and some people were excited about our plans, but not confident it was possible. And then other people were just saying, we're trying to achieve something that was impossible. There was simply no help for us and no magic recipe that we could pull and tweak. There was no path to follow. We needed to innovate. So while pushing really hard for the objective, we developed a material called Limeside. Limeside is only one part of the product. However, this is where it all began from a product perspective. With Limeside, the consumer would no longer have to cast concrete countertops in situ. The material was not prone to shrinkage that one expects with traditional concrete countertops, and we got it to be about 25 mils thick. Our biggest innovation was our dimension surface. So clients had the option of 2 aesthetics from one product. The silk finish was more aligned to the traditional floated concrete tops, and then, of course, the mind-blowing new dimension surface was our innovative surface texture. So the next secret would be to fail forward. Do not be afraid to innovate. Even though during the R&D phase we encountered one problem after another, each time we failed forward. Use your failures as a stepping stone to achieve your goal. It would have been very easy for us to give up, and I think most people do give up, and we pushed through, and that made all the difference. We achieved a concrete countertop that was 25 mils thick, stain resistant, scratch resistant, precast. It had 2 different aesthetics. It could be integrally colored, and we had a special sealer designed for our surface. Limeside could do so much more than that, though. It was fluid and easily moldable, so we could achieve casts with a lot more organic shapes as well. And this is how the Limelight came about. So we developed the Limelight as one of our precast products, and the leaf tile was one of our first 3D tiles that we developed as well. Okay, so next I want to touch a little bit more on the marketing side of it. Now that Rianda and Graham had made real work of the product and the innovation, I had to jump into action to get this product and this amazing innovation to the market. Being an entrepreneur in the industry with no funding meant that we needed to be super smart about how we launched this product, and every effort had to hit home. We couldn't miss because we literally just couldn't afford that. The product and the innovation manager in me was super excited about this, however, because it was my chance to prove all of my ideas that I've had over the years about innovation management, and also to really test some well-known theories. The screen that I have now is of the theory of diffusion of innovation. This is one of my favorite theories. I've been preaching this throughout all the years at my product design competition to the students because I believed it was so important to the success of innovation, and I got to test this out with Wolkberg. So the theory basically talks about it divides the market into segments of innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, and laggards. And it was a no-brainer. I could go on, I could do a whole talk on this theory, but I'm not. So I'm just going to move on and make it relevant to Wolkberg. It was a no-brainer that we needed to take the product to the early adopters. And the early adopters to Wolkberg are architects, interior designers, interior architects, other designers, and the likes. And what better place to launch an innovation than at 100% design? So in 2017, we launched Wolkberg Casting Studios to the South African market at 100% design. We secured enough finances to pay for our stand and to get us into the show. There was no money for marketing. So I had to let my intuition guide my efforts, and I chose to use free platforms like social media, so Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, to promote the show. I was also very determined, and this is a part of the strategy of innovation management, to have organic growth on all of these platforms. Because you truly want an engaged audience. Every time you post something about your innovation or your business, you want the audience to genuinely understand and care about what you're saying. And if you pay for your followers, the chances are it's going to go over their head and you're not going to be getting the message across. So it was a critical decision to have organic growth on those platforms. And this was a slow and painful process sometimes, however critical for our success, because we engaged on the right level with our target audience, and they found us and followed us as opposed to us hunting them down and paying them to follow us. I would say then that another secret to the success is not to let your lack of funding hinder your progress. Get creative and be bold. And honestly, now you can ask for help. There's so many individuals that are available to support you as young designers. The success for the show for me was very easy. I just wanted us to launch our brand to the market, increase our following on social media by catching the attention of the early adopters, which I knew we would do at 100% design. Sales was not a major determining factor of success for us at that show. It was the feedback and the market reaction that we would get from showing our products that would tell us whether we were on the right track or not. And I want to give you another tip. Predetermine your success measure before you do any marketing efforts, so that you do not get demotivated because you had unrealistic expectations of the event. So for example, if we had expected sales from that show, we could have easily thought that the show was not a success, because the point of the show was an introduction and a launch of the brand and the product to the market. It was to be able to network with our tribe and gather the data so that real sales can start after the show. Collaboration. We had an idea that was obviously bigger than ourselves, and we needed to connect this idea with the right people, other creators, to see its true success. Thankfully, the show was successful and the response was amazing. Michael Spinks from Nando's spotted us, Famous Brands spotted us, Michelle Throssell Interiors, and many others. And now that we had the data and some high-profile contacts, we could start with the actual sales of the product. So we set up meetings with people to introduce our innovation to them, and soon found out that people are longing for something new. And this is where our strength in collaborations really started to develop. We understood the need in the market, and we found a way to fill the gap with our material. We developed our first subway tile for the salsa restaurants, and we did a custom color development for them. And this was a huge learning experience for us because for the first time, we got to experience color in concrete, well, in limestone, because it is slightly different. And we got to learn about how it is affected during large-scale production. All our runs prior to this had been test casts, and here we learned about the variance in the color and the texture on our dimension surface of the tiles and how uncontrollable it is. We navigated our way through this experience with the understanding and patience of Famous Brands. Next, we were specified by Michelle Throssell for a really beautiful lodge in the Kruger called Mala Mala. And this was our first large project for surfaces. And this was also now a huge learning curve for us because we mass produced our surfaces for the first time, and we learned a lot about stone handling, fabrication, and the logistics behind stone. This was an amazing project, but seriously hard work, and Ramielle and Graham really had to get their hands dirty. So another tip for me to you would be, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. You need to know everything about your innovation firsthand, as far as possible. And finally, we were asked by Red Deco to develop 3 concept tiles for the Nando's portal to Africa. And we created the tri-tile, the cross tile, and the Indebele tile, which was designed by Kristen Dutoy. This was the opportunity we never knew we needed so much. Nando's embraced us as the young innovators that we were and really walked the path with us. When things went wrong, they supported us like Big Brother or Mama Bear, along with some of our other clients. We literally bushwhacked our way through uncharted territory, failing forward all along. And they still supported us through the trials and errors because innovation doesn't happen overnight. And some lessons and improvements can only be inspired by certain failures. So this is interesting. I mean, the Wright brothers, crashed many times before they actually experienced flight for the first time. This is exactly why early adopters are your market, because only they can truly appreciate everything that comes with a true innovation. The uncertainty, the failure aspect before you reach a point of success. And just when things started to go smoothly for us, we experienced a huge hurdle. And I'm not talking about COVID-19 yet. We found that about 15% of our production in 2019, towards the end of 2019 and 2020, were having sealer issues, where the sealer was flaking off certain tiles. And this cost us a huge amount of money to go to sites to fix these situations, and we knew we had to find the fault and fix it. And this is a part of innovation. It happens. There are things that you will learn all the time. And lockdown actually came to the rescue for us. We had a breakthrough in our sealer technology during lockdown. And I think we have the best version of our sealer for our dimension surface tiles yet. And of course, this innovation is only 5 months old now. So I'm sure we will still learn a whole lot more about it as we start producing more and more products and as it starts getting used in the market. Quad coat also changes the aesthetic slightly of our surfaces and enhances the colors more. And this threw another curveball because just as we got the market used to our color palette and the variants and the textures, we had to now launch this new quad coat technology, which changes the palette again. The most important factor, though, is that it is a superior product, and we need to communicate this point very clearly to our market. And my point in the last few minutes is, even if you've reached your goal and found success, there's no guarantee that things are going to continue to be the same. So you need to be agile and ready to pivot when necessary and really learn to roll with the punches. And remember that this is a high risk for high reward game. I want to share a video with you guys. This is a beautiful video. I feel like it really captures the essence of Wolkberg. It's called The Sights and Sound of Wolkberg. I hope you'll enjoy this video, and I'll see you as soon as it's done again. Okay, so I just want to say that there is no end in sight for Wolkberg. There's no ultimate success. We are in an infinite game, as Simon Sinek put it. We will continue to innovate, and as we know, with innovation comes inevitable failure. So we will continue to fail forward. Next for us is our green range of products and formalizing our net zero efforts and so much more. We hope that this business ethic of innovation will continue beyond Graham, Riando, and I. And I want to end off with just saying that, 2020 has been such a weird year, but so much good has also come from it. Our quad coat innovation, we got sponsored a corporate membership by the IID, which we're really excited to get more involved with. We were nominated for MEA Business Award 2020, and the nomination was for Best Bespoke Surface and Tile 2020 South Africa, which is a huge deal for us because a lot of effort and time, as you've heard, has gone into the design of this material we call limesite. Our breakthrough in quad coat is also a very important factor for 2020. And of course, getting to have this live talk and sharing our story with you through 100% Design is also a huge, celebration for us this year. there was a lot of things planned for 2020 which didn't come to fruition. However, we're confident we'll be able to continue with those plans as soon as life gets back to normal. That was, things like going to Milan to exhibit and exporting our products. So we are, if we have to talk about the theory of diffusion of innovation, we are tipping over into the early majority, which means soon enough we should be able to sell our fully industrialized range of tiles to the early majority. And that's very exciting and also very scary because it's a new chapter in business, and every time the business grows, you learn more and you have to put all that much more effort into it. But that is the life of an entrepreneur, and that is the journey of innovators. So I want to just leave you with saying that it is possible. It's not easy. And I think really just having the right support system, a plan, and knowing what you expect, and you can actually do it. You need to just persevere and stick with it. Thank you very much for giving me the time to do this. I hope you've enjoyed it. And we can chat soon.